Welcome back. We're looking at notices, agendas, minutes of meetings. The agenda for a regular meeting, this is a meeting that happens every month or every 2 months or whatever, will have the following elements: opening and welcome, the attendance register and apologies from people who can't be there, the names of those people, the minutes of the previous meeting, matters arising. Now those are matters arising out of the previous minutes. So you've got the minutes of the last meeting. You say, I just want to ask, what did we do about point number 3? That's matters arising out of those minutes. Motions, things that you want to discuss at that meeting and vote on. Reports, annual or financial or committee reports. Then you usually have something called general, which is where people can raise things that they want to talk about. The date of the next meeting and the closing. So that's a regular meeting. So in an exam, if you're asked to do the monthly meeting of this particular society, you follow that pattern. But often in exams, examiners don't set you that. They say there is an extraordinary meeting of your committee. The agenda for an extraordinary meeting will have these elements: the welcome, the attendance register, remember that's who's actually at the meeting, their names, and the apologies, the people who weren't able to be there, the matter to be discussed, and the closure. Now, why does an extraordinary meeting look like this? Because this is not the regular, boring meeting that you have every month. There is some crisis, something special has happened that the committee must meet to discuss. Now, why do examiners like to call that and to write that set of minutes? Because it's easier for students. It has only one focus. What is the crisis? What is the emergency? What is the special thing that they have to talk about? And remember, this is usually about 180 to 200 words long. So it makes it much easier for students to write the minutes of an extraordinary meeting than to imagine what would an ordinary meeting be like and what would people talk about and what must I include in this, because that's not as familiar as it should be, and this one is easier to write. Remember, with the agenda, at the end of the agenda, the secretary signs and gives his or her address. When you are planning the agenda, please think about the specific purpose, audience, and context of the meeting, the target audience, who is coming to that meeting, and the specific purpose. So this is who, and this is why. Why are they coming together? The type of text you're going to produce. Are you producing a notice, an agenda? Is it formal? Is it informal? Is it written in bullets? Is it written in sentences? And so the type of texts leads you into the appropriate style and point of view and format. Remember, the point of view is always third person. You write about he, she, it, they. Let's look at an example. Notice of the Colours Committee meeting to be held on, you give the date, you give the time, and you tell people where. Then you have the heading agenda. 1. Welcome. 2. Attendance register and apologies. 3. Confirm the criteria for colours for sports, academics and culturals. And closure. Then the secretary, name and address. Let's look at this notice, a different example. Notice of who is the committee, to be held on what date, at what time, in where. Agenda. Welcome, minutes of the previous meeting. Now, notice this one is not an extraordinary meeting. This one happens every month. So you're going to expect a much longer agenda. So have a look at what's on the agenda. Wow. Matters arising. What did we say this meant? It means that they talked about it last time and they're going to talk about it again. Parking bay, security, tenants, garage floor, gardening service, flower boxes, oi, and it goes on. Parking bays, problems with TV, damp, lift, razor wire, pigeons, security gate, unpaid levies. You can see a regular meeting will have a huge agenda because there's so much to discuss. Then, general date of the next meeting and closure. And remember, you need to end with the secretary's name and all the secretary's details. We've looked at the notice, which includes the agenda. Obviously, we need to look at the minutes. We'll do that in our next segment.